News is that Doug Bowser, he had some comments relating to the Switch Pro rumors. So there was a article, I believe, on not Wall Street, Washington Post, and he pretty much said that like Nintendo doesn't view a Switch Pro necessary right now because it doesn't enhance gameplay, or they don't view it as a way to enhance gameplay right now. So they just don't see a reason to release a Switch Pro, which I can see what he's saying, because in my opinion, when it comes to like the PS4 Pro and like whatever the enhanced Xbox was last generation, I didn't see a reason to really upgrade to those because it was just like prettier graphics, and like that was really about it, because the PS4 could still handle most, if not all, of the other games that were coming out at the time.
I just want like better frames because like Nintendo, like the Switch is like very weak right now, like we've said before, and
Hmm.
like it could barely handle 30 frames for a lot of games. I actually wouldn't mind like a Switch Pro at this point. I think that's why a lot of people want a Switch Pro, because like, it doesn't even have to be 60 frames at this point. I'm okay with just a stable 30, but like most games can't even do that. So I hope they actually release something soon. I mean, this kind of makes it so like the rumors for the Switch Pro might be something bigger now. Like it might just be a Switch 2 or something. I
Hmm.
don't, no one knows. No one knows anything because this has been rumored forever. But at this point, I think they might be pushing for a Switch 2 or like I don't know. It's kind of hard. 'Cause I don't think they want to do Switch 2 because they'd be afraid of like a Wii U situation where
Hmm.
people thought that the Wii U was just like some weird like add-on to the Wii, so like no one bought it. So I don't know if they want to just call it a Switch 2 or whatever. But I think Nintendo's really treading lightly with their consoles. They put the Switch out just so they could save themselves from the Wii U, and it worked really well. But I think now they're kind of scared to do like a sequel console because it might just end up like the Wii U. At least that's always been my theory on why they haven't been like showing like any new hardware besides like the Switch Lite.
Hmm.
But hopefully we do get something more powerful because I think I would like performance. I think that enhances the gameplay experience by a lot. Like it doesn't have to look like like Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart or something. Like I'm totally good with just having like good frame rates and a better resolution as well. Like maybe some HDR support. Just some like things that are pretty standard nowadays. That's all I ask for.
Yeah,
So
I can
yeah.
definitely see what you're saying, because you play a lot more Switch games than me, and you probably experience a lot more games, probably with like the Dynasty Warrior like games where like
Yeah.
it's
Age
just
of Calamity
chugging.
ran like ass. Yeah.
It's just chugging, but they don't view that as, guess, like pure gameplay stuff, which like performance really does hinder the gameplay itself, because if you have bugs or like if the game's just running poorly, it's not gonna be a fun time when you're playing it, obviously. So I think that I can understand that people are, really do want it, and I can get behind your theory with them being like very hesitant on releasing a Switch upgrade or even like a sort of like Wii U equivalent, like just like a sequel console, whether it be a new Nintendo Switch, because they're really bad with name schemes, or whatever they call it next. I'm sure that like they're very careful and, like you said, treading lightly, because last time they went from the Wii to the Wii U, it was really bad. So I'm sure that now, because they are riding this high of the Switch for, I believe, like 5 years now, they're making sure that like whatever they do next, they're able to, probably backwards compatibility with the Switch games, and on top of that, keep it in line with, I guess, the Switch family.
Yeah. Again, it just depends on what they're gonna do. Like they're probably not gonna advertise it as like a full on like next generation of Switch. It might just be like oh, you could buy this if you want, but the Switch could still run this. Like I think that's what they're gonna try to do to
Hmm.
keep everyone happy. But I guess we won't know at least for like another like 2 years or a year from now. I don't know. Like they're gonna have to upgrade soon because the Switch is getting pretty old at this point. This is the time in these consoles' lifespans where they usually have like a pro version. So
Hmm.
we're just gonna have to wait and see because the Switch has obviously been selling really well, and Nintendo really doesn't want to mess with that right now. But it'll be nice to see an upgrade so like games don't run like shit.
Hmm.
Like there's a like I would like to play more things on my Switch, but like if the performance is bad, I'll just get it on PC or like on a PlayStation console instead because I don't want to deal with that anymore. Like there's no reason to really like, I don't really use the Switch portably too much anyway. Like I kind of just
Hmm.
keep it docked most of the time. So I'm not really getting any benefit from like the drawbacks from the lack of power. So yeah, I guess it just depends on what Nintendo wants to do. If they want to do like a stronger, hardware, but not like a full-on sequel to the Switch, then I guess they'll do that. But it's really unclear what they want to do right now. So
Yeah, that was definitely like a huge like selling point for me personally when it came to like third party titles. It's like, oh, like I could take it on the go theoretically, but like performance is obviously like a very key thing when it comes to Switch ports, especially since most of them don't run as well as the console equivalent or even on PC, obviously. So, a Switch Pro wouldn't be that bad now, especially if it does enhance performance, but they just don't view it as a top priority right now.
Hmm. But we have more Switch news here. The Smash Bros. Ultimate Kazuya showcase. They showed that. And Sakurai basically said he said some pretty interesting things during this like sort of showcase.
Hmm.
But first up, they showed all his moves. He has a ton of moves. I forget how many, but I think like instead of having like 4 directions, he could do like 8 directions of moves. So it's like you have up, left, right, and down, but you also have like the other directions as well, like in between.
Hmm.
So yeah, he has just a ton of different moves and stuff. Obviously he could probably do some really crazy. I haven't seen any like combo videos or anything, but like sort of the sample combos that Sakurai was showing were like pretty insane already. I don't know how much damage this dude is gonna do, but if he can do a lot of damage and have that much combo potential, it seems like he's gonna be really busted. But again, I don't really know. Usually the way they balance these fighting game characters is that their recoveries are like really bad, but it doesn't look like his is that bad. His up B seems pretty good, so and I think his double jump goes pretty far as well. So I don't know. I'm not a Smash expert, but I guess I'll keep my ears to the ground to see what people are feeling about him. But he looks pretty fun. I haven't had a chance to actually play him yet, but he has some pretty interesting mechanics. He has like a what do you call it? A comeback mechanic though. I think when you get 100%, you could do like a big move or something. I forget. I
Yeah.
think yeah, you could do like a grab or something and does like a shit ton of damage. So I don't know how people feel about that. I know people really don't like comeback mechanics in this game, but
Hmm.
he has one. He also has like a pretty good projectile too with his laser from what Sakurai was showing. So yeah, he definitely looks like he covers more bases than the other I guess fighting game characters in Smash. Like he looks a lot more versatile than they do. But yeah, he looks pretty fun. There was a lot of I guess like uproar with some of the Mii costumes they showed during this presentation. They showed the Dova King from Skyrim, so like Skyrim man. But then they showed Dante and Shantae, and people got really upset about that because people really wanted them in the game. But at this point, if they show up as a Mii costume, probably ain't gonna happen. I think Shantae gets some music, so that's pretty cool.
Hmm.
But yeah, besides that, that's basically all he showed. And then at the end of the showcase, Sakurai basically just said, "Yeah, this is like there's only one more character, and I'm not doing any more, so don't ask me." So it really does seem like this is gonna be like obviously the last fighter pass, which a lot of people thought. But
Hmm.
we don't know if Sakurai is really gonna be continuing with Smash after this game in general. Obviously it's too early to say. Maybe he does want to do the next Smash, but he said he's been working on Smash for like 10 years straight because of Smash 4 and then Smash Ultimate. So it would be pretty reasonable for him to take like a break at this point from Smash Brothers. So it's gonna be pretty interesting to see what the next Smash game is. Obviously, it's not gonna have the same amount of characters as Ultimate does, because even Sakurai himself said this was like a nightmare for licensing. So I don't know if they're gonna totally change the formula for the next Smash game or what, but it's gonna be very interesting to see what the next Smash game will look like at this point, because there's really nothing else you could do with this game besides add more people. And maybe they might do another fighter pass in the future. Like maybe they might like for the next console they might do a Mario Kart 8 thing where it's just like, all right, here's just Smash Ultimate again, and we work in the next one later. Because a lot of people are gonna be upset when all their characters are like cut from the game. So yeah, it's very weird times for the Smash like I guess community.
Yeah. I mean, Kazuya as just like a character. I mean, anytime or like this entire pack in general, and like the previous one included, like whenever there's a third party character included, Sakurai always makes sure that like the move set always stays true to the original game that they're from, whether for better or for worse.
Hmm.
And I think that for this one, him having so many different moves and so many different sort of combos and like a bunch of different things going on with him, I think makes him very interesting. And I think that he will, see some competitive play probably early on because, he's still relatively new. I'm not even sure if he's been out for a week yet. But yeah, I mean, just from what I saw of Kazuya and just like in general, like with Sakurai in this showcase, he was having a lot of fun with it. So I can tell that, he definitely had a lot of fun and enjoyment bringing this character into Smash, especially with Tekken as such a huge property and such a huge IP as it is. Smash Twitter, some of them will say differently, but they're dumb and they don't know anything besides Smash Brothers. But yeah, I think that Kazuya, once again, Sakurai nailed it on the head in terms of like making this character, a Tekken character in Smash. So I think that that was very good. The Mii costumes, I think that the Skyrim guy was definitely out of nowhere. That was funny. But Dante, I saw one reaction video on Twitter with some guy who was just like freaking out that like, no, like, oh my God, like obviously
Yeah.
I'm not gonna peak my mic here, but like my man's just upset. I mean, rightfully so, but it is what it is. At least he's in the game in some way, shape, or form. At least Sakurai knows that there was demand for it. It's just that, there is only one point or one character left that he wants to make for this game. So, obviously people are going to get cut and we don't know who the last fighter is. And like you were saying with the whole, what's going to happen for Smash after this, I'm sure that the game's going to be somewhat stagnant for a bit and people are going to figure out like I guess like a meta and figure out who's good and who's bad. There's probably going to be a couple patches here and there between now and the next Smash game, whatever the hell that happens. But Sakurai has been literally doing Smash Brothers straight for a long, long time, and I'm interested to see what he can do outside of Smash because I think the last thing he did outside of Smash was Kid Icarus. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, it was Kid Icarus. Yeah.
So Kid Icarus Uprising was definitely one of the better 3DS games. It had a lot going for it. It definitely was doing some things differently. I think that many people who have played that game can agree that, hand pains are definitely part of it.
Yeah.
But, whatever he does next, I am interested to see because, Sakurai, he knows about game design. And he touched on that, like you said, with something like some interesting stuff that he touched on was like fighting games. And, he wasn't trying to argue whether Smash Brothers was a fighting game or not, which I think was a very good point for him to make because, people would have definitely taken that angle and ran with it on Twitter and the internet in general. But, him just, making that argument between Tekken and Smash Brothers and all that other stuff I thought was interesting from his perspective because he is the goddamn, developer of Smash Brothers at the end of the day. So, but yeah, overall, I think that this showcase is, pretty good, and I'm excited to see how Kazuya fits within the Smash meta and Smash Brothers in general, and whatever the hell happens next for Smash Brothers because this as a IP and sort of as a franchise at this point has always been exciting for Nintendo fans and even people outside of Nintendo to see who ends up in Smash next. So.
Yeah, so it's gonna be weird to like move on from all these announcements until the next Smash game, but that's kind of where we're at right now. There's not much else with Ultimate you could do at this point. So, I mean, it's been writing, for like what since 2018 at this point. So I guess it's pretty fair for it to finally come to an end because it's been a while.
Yeah. Okay.